The outspoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Cuban, just got hacked for almost $1 million. Was it you? This is Around the Blockchain. Thank you for joining, everybody. Make sure you hit the like button because we got 3 phenomenal guests. We're going to go and get right into it. On the bottom left, we have Evan, Aldo, holding it down, and I heard the background might be changing soon. Can you reveal any details?
Maybe. You know, they say you shouldn't reveal too much if you're trying to get something new, so we'll leave it like that, but the background may or may not be changing within the next 30 days or so.
All right, make sure you don't point the camera out the window. The autist will find you. All right, also on, we have Thinking Crypto with the best pillow collection in the entire world. Move over, my pillow guy. How are you doing, Thinking Crypto?
I'm doing great. Excited to talk about Mark Cuban losing some money, even though we know he's not going to miss it. So, yeah.
Okay. Hey, give it like if you're a Mavericks fan as well. And then we also have Corey Costa. Corey, how are you doing today?
Good, man. And just got a new job helping, being a social studies teacher for students with special needs and exceptional learners and gifted students. So I'm glad to be here. As
are you
always,
serious?
Thank you so much.
All right, so you're doing G&T and special needs. It's going to be quite the difference there.
Yeah, I'm doing special needs, exceptional learners, gifted learners. So yeah, you don't have to give me a little points for that, but thank you.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
You're doing a public service, and you know what? Yeah, I feel teachers are underpaid. So let's make a thing. And I support school choice. But all right, we're getting sidetracked here. Let's talk about the $150 million ETH trade by a whale, everybody. We actually have a little chart. This is from the Deribit trading platform. You can see the calls versus the puts. Options can be bought as a put or a call. A call, you think it's going up. A put, you think it's going down, and you see call blocked. Blocked basically means a block of orders. Typically, this is going to be an institutional trader. So a large institution just put in a big bet all at once. They think ETH is going up. We have the actual price targets and the dates for you folks. And hit that like button if you like this alpha. So they have a prediction. They're betting roughly 40-60 split here, the 40% for on October 27th. And today is the 18th. So you're looking right around 40 days. On October 27th, they want ETH to be $2,000. So about 40 days from now, they're betting on ETH hitting 2,000. Then we fast forward to December 29th, right at the year's end. That's roughly 100 days from now. 100 days from now, they say ETH is going to hit $2,200. December 29th, everybody. Like I said, it was all on Deribit and will be executed off the order books, everybody. This is going to be block orders, so meaning when this hits, you're not going to see a order book just get instantly demolished. Now, Evan, you're the chart guy. I'm looking at it. Maybe let's just stick with the close one. It'd be a little bit easier to predict. October 27th, $2,000. Is that setting up? I mean, we're looking about 40 days from now. Does the chart support that?
Oh, man. Anything could happen, DZ, but probably not. And when I look at my chart here, so there are some good things. I think we're in a Wyckoff accumulation for Ethereum right here. And you could see, phase A, phase B, phase C. And then in the C phase, typically you hit a bottom. I think we're going to hit a bottom somewhere between 1,300 all the way down to potentially 1,000 or potentially even lower to make a lower low, which is not unlikely with Wyckoff. But when you look at some of the shorter term timeframes, you have the VWAP coming up on the weekly right here. Nice anchor wave. I could see that bringing you back up to 18, maybe even 19, something pretty high to scare away a lot of the people shorting. Everybody was so bearish for September. It's possible we could jump up a bit higher here to those levels. You kind of have a double bottom pattern here on the 3-day and the 2-day. And you got the bullish div that's confirmed on the 2-day. And this could take some time to play out. But to come up to 2,000, let's keep in mind, they could always sell that. I believe they could always sell that option earlier if they don't like what they're seeing in the charts. So, but ultimately, I think it's a very risky endeavor. And when you zoom out here too on the macro to come down to December and all that, I mean, you got a blood diamond on the monthly. That doesn't look good at all. I mean, sometimes these, big trades and stuff, they could be taking profits early. Maybe they're doing that. They're making it public. Let's pump the price up to 1,800, 1,900. Then let's just dump it all in retail. And the reason I think it's kind of, not a good idea to be doing this with Ethereum is because when you look at Ethereum versus Ethereum just keeps bleeding against Bitcoin. I mean, great curvature in your 2-week on market side are coming down into the red. It seems likely that, even when you look at this 3-day blood diamonds here, it seems very likely that you'll come down at least another 9-10% against Bitcoin. If we just draw a little trend line, what we've been doing for ETH Bitcoin, it looks like you're going to come down farther. Now, to be fair, ETH did bottom out exactly about 4 years ago versus Bitcoin in September of 2019, but it was kind of choppy really until December of 2019. And both of them did not locally bottom out against their USD pairs until December. And then obviously the pandemic after. So to talk about this, I want to say that they might be doing something where let's trick retail into going along at 18, 19K, and then let's just take some profits on these options and then just dump it all onto them. That's what I think is most likely here.
All right. Well, speaking of most likely, thinking crypto, he brought up the ETH Bitcoin trading pair. So I want to talk to you about ETH and Bitcoin when it comes to the institutional buys. What do you think they are going to buy more, just say over the next 6 months? Do they have more interest in Bitcoin or Ethereum?
I think there's going to be more play on Bitcoin because of the potential upcoming Bitcoin spot ETF approval. The line is growing around the block for everyone trying to get that ETF approval. And there's some deadlines coming up in October. So we'll have to wait and see. But, you could trade both, right? Because we've seen historically, Bitcoin will move, then that liquidity will flow to alts, and it starts with Ethereum. We've seen that time and time again. Not to mention, there were some Ethereum spot ETFs that were put into filing, I believe, by ARK and a few others. And I recently spoke to the folks at Anchorage Digital, the co-founder, Diego Monica, and he mentioned they have been seeing record inflows of Ethereum for institutional staking, institutional Ethereum staking. So I think, personally, I'm bullish on both. I'm accumulating Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it would make sense that if you could have a strategy of getting ready for that Bitcoin spot ETF approval, if it does happen this fall, and then preparing for the liquidity to flow to alts.
All right. Well, Corey, I want to ask you about front running maybe the big institutions. So we have big money. They're about to start pouring into Bitcoin. I feel it's likely ETFs approve in the next, say, 12, 18 months. Many analysts are expecting, right after that is going to be Ethereum. Would it be a smart buy to maybe try to front run the JP Morgans and the BlackRocks as they have their focus on Bitcoin?
Absolutely. I think that it's very smart to front run institutions to begin with. I think you buy when blood's on the street and when the blood is even your own. I think that Bitcoin and Ethereum are obviously the safest plays in this space. There's no question about that. There really are no other cryptocurrencies in this entire space of the 22,000 cryptocurrencies that exist that are as safe as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, the issue with the problem with retail here is that retail does not front run Bitcoin and Ethereum. It tends to back run institutions. They tend to buy at the top. So if you really want to front run institutions, the bottom is very, very close. I think the bottom has already been hit with the 15.5 and Ethereum going to about 1,000, I think personally, and Bitcoin hitting 15.5. But is there really much of a difference, let's say, speculatively speaking, if Ethereum and Bitcoin next run as a result of institutions in a Bitcoin spot ETF, let's say Bitcoin goes to 90 to 110K when Ethereum goes to like 6,000 to 8,000, are you really in a bad position right now if you're buying at $1,600 and $27,000? I really don't think so. But I think that the problem is that this market is based on fear, whereas institutions, they go based on logic because they know that they can take advantage of retail's fear by implementing their own logic, and they unfortunately are the market makers. So therefore, since they are the market makers, they can easily take advantage of retail. But I do think that the intelligent investors right now are front running. They should be front running institutions.
All right. Did you buy some ETH today? Anybody? I did buy a coin, but it was a Paradigm VC investment. Maybe I'll share it at the end. Stick around at the end. I'll give you my low cap gem. Action CEO, $2 super chat for Corey, teaching kids like DZ. I would teach them how to lose at Magic the Gathering is what I would teach. Go ahead.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, speaking of action, let's move on over to Binance US, where all the action is for the US regulators. At least 3 months ago, the SEC, just a little timeline. 3 months ago, SEC sued Binance US. They alleged CZ and the parent company ran an unlicensed securities exchange. Well, today they filed there's an urgent need for inspection, okay, regarding the custody arm of the platform. They had a few complaints here. I'm going to read off 3 of them. They found that the holding company had an inability to keep its story straight, quote, did not establish exclusive control for customer assets, and last but not least, called CZ an individual who views himself outside the jurisdiction of any court of law. We actually have the old CEO. That's the old Binance CEO. He is on Binance US. Let me clarify, the old Binance US CEO on the way out. Their head of legal is going to be the new CEO. And the Binance, this is according to the SEC. I haven't looked myself, but according to the SEC, Binance Holding Company only produced 220 documents for the entire court case. So when they ask for discovery, they're like, oh, well, here's a sheet of 220 pages. They're like, I think there should be a little bit more, said Gary Gensler. All right, well, let's pull up that picture one more time. I do like the hoodie. I couldn't tell if that guy was, it looks like he's knocking on your door during the purge, the crypto purge. They could steal your crypto one day a year. All right. No, I'm just kidding. That's when you leverage trade with 30% or higher, 30x or higher. All right. Well, Evan, I'm looking, Binance. A lot of people, they just want to know about the underlying asset. Not talking about, CZ's secret Bitcoin vault. No, we're talking about BNB, the native currency. What is BNB at? I mean, there's supposedly this hard floor. CZ's propping it up. I think, was it 212 or so? Oh, what are the charts telling us?
So it's one of those interesting things right here. And if you look at the chart here, I mean, we've just been playing ping pong for a while between support and resistance, obviously. Everybody, we go down a lot. Everybody says Scream's going to go lower. Then we go up. Then we hit off of this area, go down. And right now, what we're actually looking at kind of a nice bullish sign, because you do have momentum waves coming up on the weekly and you have price coming down. So this looks pretty good for a potential long setup. And they say the trend is your friend. And I think that's very true. What is the trend doing right now? It's just bouncing between support and resistance up here. So what's the most logical thing that would happen? Probably a little bit of a jump up, maybe, I don't know about 270, but probably somewhat of a jump up here. And then eventually, I do think that we're going to come lower and lose this general area. And, if you have a technical target here, now this is a wild kind of boring situation, because obviously, I mean, if you bought kind of any time between here in February 21, we're kind of at the same price. This hasn't done too much in terms of crypto volatility. But, I think worst case scenario, you break down from here, technical target at like $68. That's really low. I kind of don't think you're going to come that low. But let's do this technical target like a little more like, from the area we've been in since, I don't know, the last year. Let's do July of 22. This area would bring us right around $100, which I think is very likely. And if you look at that from like a full out, correction to the bottom, 84% down, it seems likely. Can it go lower like CRO or, a lot of other exchange tokens have? Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But I think the gamble would be probably around 100 most likely. I don't think it's going to do anything too bad. I don't think you've hit the bottom. I think you do have some more blood ahead with this, especially if you do look at this 2-week. I feel like money flow wants to come a bit deeper on this 2-week. And my estimate, the last thing I'll show you here, my estimate, come deeper into the money flow and then potentially get a bullish div on the way up. Maybe sometime early next year, that would align with kind of what we saw last year. The true bottom was around March. I know it was the pandemic, but early next year, I could see this bleeding down a bit farther, somewhere around $100. And then from there, I think you're kind of home free. That's my best guess here. For the next, couple weeks, next month, I do think, you'll probably just do what you've done. Just jump up a bit off of this support right here and then probably reject from the resistance.
All right. We do have a shout out from Donald Pepe. CZ is going down. BlackRock needs that #1 spot. We also have a shout out for Linqto. If you go down in the description, you can check out Linqto. You can invest like an accredited investor without being an accredited investor. Really good product. All right. Well, let's shoot it over to Thinking Crypto here. Now, I certainly don't think Binance as a whole is dead. Do you think Binance is dead?
No, absolutely not.
Quick follow-up. What about Binance US? Is Binance US dead?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a different story. Binance US, I think, is dead in the water. You look at the volumes, they've plateaued on some on certain days, just going down and down and down. and Binance US almost seems cursed. And I'll go back to, like 2018. I interviewed Catherine Coley, the former or first CEO of Binance US, and then she disappeared. No one could find her. And I think she is cooperating with, I think, investigators, and that may not be good for Binance US. Then you had Brian Brooks. He leaves after what, 3-4 months. Now another CEO. It's just the turnstile of CEOs and executives. It's not good. There's something fishy happening at Binance US. And once again, this is not anything to say that CZ necessarily is doing some scammy operation, but from the folks I've been talking to in DC, from the Blockchain Association and different advocacy groups, Binance, you say that name in DC and everybody's, ready to pull out their guns. They hate Binance, especially after the FTX situation. So I think Binance US is dead in the water. There's not, I don't think anyone should be using that platform. There's a high risk. Take your funds off. And let's just wait. Maybe after a few years, Binance US can recover. But right now, I would stay clear of Binance US.
All right. And you're going to get one extra point for the chain. Oh, I kind of want to point at it. The chain link pillow. All right. So you get one. Hey. Oh, wow. It's so soft. All right. Now, Corey, last question here. Then we're going to go around the blockchain. I'm going to ask everybody about CZ and SBF. Now, they submitted, within Discovery, they gave them some documents, because, they wanted to know if, hey, is this an unlicensed securities exchange? They want to look at, Slack messages, internal controls, what exactly is the breakdown of the entities owning everything. And then Binance gave them 220 documents. Do you think 220 was enough to give the SEC all the information they needed?
No, because the SEC probably already has the information that they want and what they need. And what I mean by that is simple, is that you could give the SEC 1,000 pages of information. You can give them 2,000. You can give them 3,000. You can prove your innocence. You can prove your operation is legitimate. But just like how that gentleman said, BlackRock and CZ is going down. I don't think CZ is going down. But my point being here is that let's look at XRP, for example. XRP was an extremely drawn out case. And Judge Torres came out and said that XRP was not a security. And with all of that 3 years, that 3 years from December of 2020 to basically 2 months ago, all of that litigation occurring, and then look what happened. The SEC is appealing that decision. So the SEC doesn't care if you can prove your innocence or if other judges outside the SEC determine the case that you're not a security or that there's not something fishy going on. They just want to be the overarching authority in this space. And I think that's where the issue lies, is that we have a very draconian industry, a very draconian entity that no matter how many documents I feel like Binance would give the SEC, it doesn't really matter in the end, because if cryptocurrency is going to go a certain way that the state and financial institutions thereof and central banks want, it doesn't matter how much you prove your innocence. Even if there's stuff going on behind the scenes, Binance US being fishy, even if they're not, it doesn't matter in my opinion. It doesn't matter how many documents you submit.
All right, we got Thinking Crypto thinks it's fishy. Corey Costa thinks it's fishy. A lot of people are saying, the Terra Luna debacle is a little fishy. The Binance US thing is a little fishy. The FTX polycule specifically was, of course, a little fishy. We just want transparency, All right, well, we got the super subscriber. Good luck, Just Jim, with your rototiller. We're wishing you luck. All right, let's talk about the outspoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks. You may have seen him on Shark Tank. You may have seen him screaming on the side of the court, screaming at Steve Nash. That's him. The second he saw his MetaMask earlier, he's famous, of course, from those things. But in the crypto ecosphere, he's more infamous than famous, I would say. Well, the infamy continued because he lost almost $1 million, folks. It looks like it was roughly $860,000 or $870,000 over 10 cryptocurrencies. It looked like it was from a phishing attack. I'm just going to use his words here. Mark said, "I'm pretty sure I downloaded a version of MetaMask with some shit in it." That's his quote there. Let me repeat that one for Owen, and he was listening to something else. "I'm pretty sure I downloaded a version of MetaMask with some shit in it." So that's what he said there. He then he also said he searched for Circle on Google, not MetaMask. Why is he Googling Circle? That could be another episode right there. And he prevented further theft. They were almost going to get him for another $2 million. He said he saw the screen like reboot a couple times, didn't know what was happening. And then he quickly transferred his Polygon, his Matic, moved his Matic over to Coinbase for custody and was able to protect the rest of the funds there. So at the end of the day, maybe we'll look up his net worth. I don't think it's going to be too much pain he's going to be feeling. Now, Evan, you got to worry about this as well. You know, we just saw, a friend of the channel, Jason Casper. He just lost about $700K. I think it was also maybe even MetaMask. My question to you is, how would you download MetaMask? What steps would you take?
So it's a pretty, I mean, that's part of it. The first thing is make sure you go to the official MetaMask website. I guess there could be, I don't know. That's a good question, DZ. But what I will say is the way I do this, I'm more of a trader. I can't answer all of these complicated, things. But I've been in crypto since 2015. I have never been hacked, never lost a penny in crypto. I've lost money, buying high and selling low, stupid things like that. But, I have used a Treasure hardware wallet since 2020. Okay. I use that hooked up with my MetaMask. So essentially, I am okay until I sign over my keys to the phishing site and hit the button on the Treasure. So you got to make sure the website you're hooking it up to is legitimate. That's the most important thing here. And now, in terms of the Exodus wallet hacks and some of the MetaMask hacks, the number one thing that you can do, the number one thing that's most important is if you have, any amount of crypto that you don't want to have, that you want to lessen the risk immensely, use a hardware wallet over a hot wallet. Because if you have a hot wallet, if somebody gets into your computer, you're done. You're completely done for MetaMask and Exodus. If you have a hardware wallet, there's an extra lining there, a big extra lining where you have to physically hit the button on the hardware wallet. Now, the way with the hardware wallet you still could get hacked here is you need to, I don't know how to avoid the fake MetaMask site. I think Mark Cuban sounds very ignorant. Sounds like he has no business putting $800,000 on the wallet. It's probably like $800 for him. He doesn't care. $80, to the average person, obviously. But, you do some due diligence. Google, make sure that the website has a padlock, usually metamask.com. I don't know if it's that one, but if it's MetaMask 11 point dot at, Nigerian Prince, avoid that. I think it's not that obvious, but the hardware wallet is the most important thing. And do not hit the button on the hardware wallet to move your crypto or your NFTs without first verifying the thing. These are the things I have followed for the last, how many years? 8 years. And I have never had an issue. So that's all I can say in that matter.
Saying, hey, it's necessary paranoia, saying chat. I have 2 tips. I will say this. You can find the verified MetaMask Twitter account and then just click their link. Never trust Google, folks. Never trust an app store. Just never trust those 2 things. You might be okay. The second way to find a good URL.
Unless you're sure. Do not hit this button. Do not hit the button here unless you're sure.
So one way, URLs from X. Second way, a URL from a YouTube description from a channel you trust, not random 12 views guy, 7 views on this video. Here's how you download MetaMask. If you see a Ben Cowan MetaMask link, it's probably going to be good. Probably, again, hey, we got to verify, folks. Just be careful out there. So I use URL links and Twitter links. All right, now, thinking crypto, what do you feel about MetaMask now? Is this changing your opinion of MetaMask?
Oh, for sure. And I already had I didn't have a full confidence opinion in MetaMask given their history. And similar to what Evan said, I'm more on the cold storage front. I believe that's the safest, and I have my seed phrases and all these things backed up. But as Evan mentioned, there's an extra layer there. So I think folks have to be wary of MetaMask. And I think the industry as a whole has to come together and take us to another iteration, another level of security, because this is kind of ridiculous. You got DeFi hacks, you got these hot wallet issues, and it really sucks. And it doesn't present much confidence to new people coming in, and their crypto could be stolen. It just adds this whole layer of complexity. So I'm personally not using MetaMask. I'm going to be staying away from that. I'm sticking with my cold storage, and hopefully MetaMask can innovate and like I said, bring future iterations of security layers, and so in addition to the other software wallets.
All right, we do have let's see, super sub Billy. He got hacked. Billy has cracked the case. Everybody, he got hacked because he never offers a deal on Shark Tank. Dude is always out. Maybe it could have been a jilted, scorned investor or entrepreneur. They're like, you know what, I'm gonna get this guy. Between them two, I don't know what's going on. Give me Barbara at this point. If you know who I want to hold my crypto out of that show, I'll give it to Barbara before I give it to those other two. Nothing against Barbara. She just sticks to real estate mostly. All right. Now, Corey, last question here for this topic. I mean, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek question, but you kind of just speak to the broader ecosystem at whole with scams. Sure. How do you feel about a tech billionaire worth $5.2 billion losing his crypto?
I think just because a billionaire and a leader in tech is someone who invests in crypto doesn't necessarily mean you should follow that person's advice in cryptocurrency. There's a great book called The Republic by Plato, and he basically highlighted Plato basically highlighted that a man can be brilliant in one category and a fool in another. So people tend to look at someone in the totality of their monetary wealth. They tend to look at them in their experience and their success, but they don't realize that that is not indicative of their overarching intelligence or knowledge about a specific topic. So to be honest with you, this doesn't surprise me. And for someone who's as wealthy and for someone who's well known as Mark Cuban to not use and to piggyback basically on what these fine gentlemen said, I don't know why he wouldn't be using cold storage. I don't know why he would not be focused on security, especially the fact that I saw that a lot of those things were domain names, and basically domain names basically make it easy for people to track you. And if you guys know this, there's a lot of wallet watchers in cryptocurrency. So people are watching you. And for people who don't use cold storage like Mark Cuban, these are not the people to follow. Like a lot of these famous people, a lot of these influencers, they don't teach the concept of not your keys, not your coins. You need to have cold storage. You need to have the ability to be safe in this market, and to follow someone like Mark Cuban and to follow all these different individuals that are prevalent and wealthy in the outside, in the tech space. The tech space is not necessarily, in my opinion, synonymous with the digital asset space like cryptocurrency. So in my personal opinion, following Mark Cuban after this may not be the best idea. And he also doesn't have a very good track record on investing in projects. I think he invested in a very well-known scam in cryptocurrency last year. I forgot the name of it exactly, but I do remember hearing that. So in my opinion, guys, make sure you take security and make sure security is paramount, and don't always follow someone just because you know of them in the real world. That's really what I have to say.
All right, chat is split on Mark Cuban. One saying Mark is smarter than you think. He codes in many languages, including Solidity, just saying. But then on the other end, Mark Cuban just got very lucky. He wouldn't have made it where he is otherwise. I can say it's a little bit of both. He did get lucky in the fact that he sold TV on the internet, right? Broadcast.com, I believe. TV, but on the internet. There was probably a 3 to 6 month window to sell something like that for $1 billion. He had the number one product at the time. If you ever watch, was Silicon Valley, the guy I think had radio on the internet. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. He got very lucky. Radio, TV on the internet. It was a person of the times, but yeah, he is a smart guy. I wouldn't let him hold my crypto. He did get into that rug pull, and for that reason, I'm out. But I tell you who's in. It's Corey Costa. Corey, you ended up taking it down with the most points, man. I see you're already grabbing the mic. You're ready to start spitting some fire. Feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts, buddy.
Oh, I was just about to say, make sure to check your blind signing on your ledger as well. That's another way to get tricked. Make sure to check the transactions on your ledger or Trezor at all times before you click that button. And I just want to say, as always, thank you, DZ, for being a fantastic host. Thank you so much for everybody watching, guys. Make sure in the individuals watching, all 440 of you, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to Around the Blockchain. Make sure to subscribe to all the gentlemen, including myself, on the platform. We try to educate people in cryptocurrency as much as we can. Make sure to support us. Follow us on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to us on the channel. And thank you so much again, DZ, for your time.
All right, be careful with those MetaMask links, everybody. Remember, not your keys, not your cheese. hit that like button. Make sure you go down into the description. Make sure you follow everyone's channel. Check out Linqto. That's all we got. Easy out.